Hi everyone, I'm Ben from the Bonehead Podcast and welcome to the SWTC Show. The second tournament in the SWTC is the North Wales Carnage Cup in Wrexham, taking place on the 23rd and 24th of November. So, the SWTC is the Southwest Tournament Championship, and it's a tournament series for NAF-sanctioned Blood Bowl events in the Southwest England and Wales. Wrexham, which is North Wales, would normally be a bit too far afield for inclusion in the SWTC. However, although next year it would probably make sense for it to take place in the Midlands Championship Series, geographically speaking, this year I'm really happy to have it be part of the SWTC as it's a great event run by a great TO. The whole purpose of the tournament series is to get more coaches to play more tournaments, and if some of the SWTC regulars travel up to Wrexham, or the Wrexham regulars travel down to play in some of the other SWTC events, then we just end up playing more Blood Bowl and growing the community, which is what it's all about. And I've already got the trophy made. So let's talk about the event itself. It's taking place at a pub in Wrexham called the Ironworks and is being run by friend of the podcast, Rob, or Roblem on the NAF. It's a 2-day, 6-game event, which means for the SWTC ranking it's full points. The first day starts with registration at 9 and the first game kicks off at 9:30. There's a 2-hour game limit on the games, which is pretty standard for these tournaments, which means the first day will be wrapping up about 5 o'clock. The second day kicks off at 9:30 again, first game at 10, and you'll be wrapping up by about 5 o'clock ready for awards. Talking of awards, we have got the Punga's Champion of the Carnage, most tournament points, the 2 Drunk Flings Award for stunty coaching, highest placed stunty team, the best defence and the best offence for the fewest touchdowns allowed and the most touchdowns scored, the most violent coach, which is the most casualties inflicted, the Nuffle Spoon of Gloom, the fewest tournament points, so the Wooden Spoon Award. There is also a best team, which is based on public vote, and a Wordsmith Award for best team, fluff or story. So I'll read very quickly that part because it's a really interesting event. So the Wordsmith Award. This is given to the team with the best original backstory. The idea is to flesh out your team, make it feel unique to you. How you go about this is up to you. There's no hard limits of what can be submitted, but it should be fairly family friendly and in keeping with the established Blood Bowl law. And Rob has managed to get a Black Library book signed by a bunch of Black Library authors to give to the Wordsmith Award champion, which I think is really, really cool. And that just touches on an extra spot of Blood Bowl that we don't normally get to enjoy at tournaments, so really like that. Let's have a quick look at the tournament scoring system for this event. So it's going to be 15 points for a win, 7 points for a draw, 0 points for a loss, plus 3 points for winning a match by 2 or more touchdowns, and plus 1 point per casualty caused. But that includes only those that would count for SPP, and a maximum of 5 a round, so no fouling and crowd surfing. And now for the fun part, the team build rules. So, this event is a 1.2 million build, using all the regular teams, including the NAF 3. So Britannian Corn and Kislev/Slan, depending on which way you prefer them. You get an additional 100,000 to spend on tournament inducements, so special tournament inducements, which we'll talk briefly about in a moment. Some things to note, the 1200 does not include your skills, so that comes later, and if you take a star player, be warned, no duplicate star players are allowed to play against each other. So you can take Roxana, but if somebody else is also running Roxana and you play against them, neither of you get to play with Roxana. So, you've been warned. Skill packages. There are none, except at the end of each round, a coach gets to choose 1 player to get a double skill or 2 players to get normal skills. And at the end of round 3, so the last round of the first day, you can either give a stat increase to one of your players or take an extra 50k in those special tournament inducements. It's an interesting one. I like it, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So let's talk about those special tournament inducements. As the setting is a tournament run by a brewery, there are 7 different types of beer that can be purchased for your team. One of them replaces Bloodweiser kegs, so Bloodweiser kegs can't be purchased as part of your team build. These ones can only be bought using the special tournament inducement money. The other 6 are very, very interesting. I'm not going to cover them all in the video. You can check them out in the rules pack, which I will link below. And Rob's trying to influence a little bit of balance between the tiers by making certain ones cheaper for different teams. It adds quite a lot of depth to the build. I like that. There's also a special star player called Mo, which is based on the Punga Miniatures Savage Orc blocker miniature with the big sword thing on the screen now. Mo is 240,000 for a 5-4-2-9 Savage Orcs who can play for any team. Coming with Loner, Block, Multiple Block, Dauntless and Grab, he can be really strong on the front line. Interesting player. You've got Multiple Block and you've got Dauntless to balance it out, and you've got Grab and regular block as well, so he can impact it, which is quite cool. My list. For a slow burn build like this, I do think a more grindy team would be suitable. So the great thing about this build is it kind of emulates league play in a way, where you start with absolutely nothing and then you grow your team up. Specifically around skills, not team value wise, but still. So top low level league teams would perform really well in this event, I think. So Dwarves, Wood Elves, Dark Elves, Undead would be some of my top picks to take to this tournament. If I was lucky enough to be going, I would be running a Dark Elf team. So I went Wood Elves last time, and Dark Elves would be my pick for this round. You get quite a big roster for 1200, which is very useful. So I'd take 4 Blitzers, 1 Runner, 2 Witch Elves, 5 Linemen, and 3 rerolls. So actually, Dark Elves with a bench, you've got the 2 Witch Elves, and you've got 3 rerolls already. Skills. So you get 2 regular skills or 1 double after each round. I'd be working on getting the Witch Elves block as soon as I could, but because at the end of round 3 you get a stat up, I would make sure that I ended up with a leaping strip ball blitzer going into round 3 so that I could take that Edge plus. Edge 5 Dark Elf blitzer with leap and strip ball just makes him an armor 8 war dancer, which is awesome, and you're supported by that point a bunch of elves with dodge block as well. I think really cool. I think it's every Wood Elf player's dream. So thanks very much for watching. If you can make it to North Wales Carnage Cup, then please do. Otherwise, let me know what team you would take. Let me know what team you are taking if you are lucky enough to be going, and I really can't wait to review the team lists and the results for this event as soon as they are done. See you next time.